Hi there, my beautiful dear dreamers, and welcome back to Emiya Soleil Dreamwork. It took me 13 years to realize that one of my strongest dreams really is an archetypal one. I have always seen it as important because of the transformation through fear theme that it represents. I looked it up today because I wanted to go deeper into working with the losing strength theme that I mentioned last week. So here it is. I'm walking westwards together with an unknown man. We are on our way to visit his brother. The area we go through is familiar, but I'm vigilant and because something feels kind of fishy here. The man tells me we have to walk through a couple of tunnels through grassy hills, but I can see the first one and it's quite narrow and it's also filled with old garbage, so I tell him with a smile but with quite a firm tone that I will not enter at all. So the man doesn't answer, he just keeps on walking, and when we come to an apartment where my old boss and some unknown people are, I just ignore them and I walk through it. On my way out, though, I leave an open newspaper on a table showing the lyrics to one U2 song, One Love. I continue then alone, and I come to an ocean in the west where huge waves are towering up, and then an Asian man turns up and he asks me to take care of the baby he has in his arms. And I take it in my arms, and at the same time I look at the surroundings like I'm looking for signs, aware of that things maybe not are like they should be. It's I'm very watchful in this situation, and then the situation actually repeats itself. And when the man asks me anew to take care of the baby, I tell him that no, he has to do it himself. So he leaves with the baby in his arms, and I continue to walk. I find myself in a desert, to which I have arrived along with gods. Obviously, something happens that I can't remember, but the gods are fleeing up in the red mountains in the east. And I'm now standing alone in the sand. I'm wearing a very thin and white shiny dress with narrow shoulder straps, and I am barefoot. The sun is burning with an almost unbearable heat. I become aware also that I have been left alone with a trickster god, and this trickster god has been challenging me throughout the whole journey. I feel terribly alone now when the gods fled up in the mountains, and the sun burns so hot that I can hardly move. But I bend down to the sandy ground and dig up flat shiny objects, looking like perhaps tiles of silver or something, and I think to myself that with these I can try to defend myself in different ways. They are sharp and they also reflect the sun. I start running southward, and I find a place to hide, and the sun is burning my soles, and every footstep I take really hurts. I know the trickster god is hunting me, soundless, and I can't see him, and this is the worst enemy I have ever had. Finally, I find a place looking like a deserted lumber yard, and I sit down behind a wooden plate. I know I'm easy to find here, but there is no other place to hide, and I cannot run anymore. I hear footsteps hammering in a rhythmic pace, and I try to wake up from the dream. But it's impossible, so I think that I may perhaps be able to steer it, control it, since I know it's a dream. Perhaps I should just surrender myself, capitulate. I try, but I can't move at all, and I understand this is not a dream anymore. I realize that the trickster god who's hunting me is the same demon as who I read about in a book when I was a young teenager. A demon who had been summoned to assist the evil deeds in World War II, even at the Holocaust. I can feel all my energy leaving me when the footsteps comes closer, and I understand that I've reached the time of my own death. But then I become aware of something else. It's not a demon approaching. The demon is gone. I understand it because I can hear that the footsteps are pounding exactly in the same pace as my heart. So I just listen to my heartbeat and I think to myself, Messiah. At first, let's grind this dream on level 1. I'm walking westwards with this unknown man, and this means the soul and the watcher and my dreaming self is moving closer to some form of symbolical death through an unknown active aspect. We are then on our way to visit his brother, which means strengthening the action. And the area we go through is familiar, but I'm vigilant because something feels kind of fishy. And this indicates that there's something I should have learned before here. The man tells me we have to walk through those tunnels, and so the action demands subconscious work. But when I see the first tunnel, I see it's very narrow and it's also filled with old garbage, and this means there's a risk getting stuck in past dramas. So I tell the man no, with a smile, but quite firmly, and this means that obviously I'm not ready to go through with this, and I try to keep calm. The man doesn't answer, he just keeps on walking, and the action is already taken, so I can't say no. When we come to this apartment, where my old boss and some other unknown persons are, there's a thought pattern with demanding active forces present, with unknown abilities to act. I ignore them though, and I only walk through the place, so I don't get stuck, I just watch the pattern. And on my way out, I leave an open newspaper showing the lyrics to U2 song One Love, and this means I bring new energy into the thought form, and it's about love and unity. I continue alone, so the soul moves without influence of thoughts or emotions. I come to an ocean in the west, which means getting closer to death and eternity. Huge waves are towering up, so emotional upheavals of great importance are possible. An Asian man, a new way of action, turns up and asks me to take care of a baby, asks me then to nurture and protect the innocence of the action. I take it in my arms, and with hesitation I accept then. So then I look at the surroundings, looking for signs, aware of everything around me, watchful. Still there are important things to understand of this situation. This becomes obvious when the situation repeats itself, and when the man asks me again to take care of the baby, I tell him he has to do it himself. And why didn't I take care of the baby this time? The man stands on the shoreline, and he's Asian, so watch the symbolism here. What is this symbolizing? Still on level 1, which is kind of tricky because here it's getting pretty clear to me that it's an archetypal dream. I will show you this later, but let's continue on level 1, because if being able to breaking things down to a ground level, understanding gets so much broader. I'm the ocean, I'm the Asian man, I'm the baby. And Asia is an eastern located area of the world, and the east represents a new birth. The man who is standing on the shoreline is like the watcher of the threshold here inside myself, and when giving me the baby he's testing me in like when the computer says, are you sure you want to quit the program? So will I skip my journey towards death and instead take a shortcut to be reborn, which is symbolized then by the baby, without going through the dying part? Well, at first I do, but then I think again when the scene repeats itself. Then I say no and continue the soul journey alone. The soul knows then it has to go the whole way. And I end up in a desert into which I have arrived with gods. It's a desolated place inside myself. The painful journey of the soul towards transformation along with the higher spiritual intentions then. But something happens that I can't remember. It makes the gods fleeing up in the red mountains in the east, and I'm standing there alone in the sand. And here's a critical passage, since what happened is forgotten, but it's of severe nature, since it makes every high spiritual intention go away. I'm wearing a very thin and shiny white dress with narrow shoulder straps, and I'm barefoot. And this means the soul is, through its earlier challenges, proved to be of shining and pure state, which is needed in this final test. The sun is burning with an almost unbearable heat. In this condition, the loss of spiritual courage and high intentions, the soul actually hasn't been closer to the source of all life, ever. I become aware of that I have been left alone with the trickster God, who also has been challenging me throughout the whole journey. And here is where the real trial by fire begins, without any soul aspects or intentions at all, and the soul finds itself hunted and haunted by a really scary shadow. I feel terribly alone in the burning sun, and I find that flat, shiny objects is there in the sand, and which means the soul gets acclimated to the state it's in and starts doing its job. The objects are sharp, and they reflect the sun. So the soul knows it's up against a trial. It's a sharp situation, and the soul also needs reflection. So it's a painful flight, and I realize this is the worst enemy I have ever had, and I can't even see him. So this is fear of the unknown, and it's pain and a final feeling. I found a place then looking at the deserted lumberyard where I sit down behind a wooden plate. I'm curling up in myself there, symbolically getting ready to be born again. I know I'm easy to find, but there's no other place available to hide, and I can't run anymore, so this is it. Uncompromising knowledge of the necessity of dying before being born again. And I hear footsteps hammering in a rhythmic pace, and I try to wake up from the dream, but still fear is present and triggering the will to flee. I can't though, so I think to myself that perhaps I am able to control the dream, but this is not possible at all. So then I try to surrender myself, but I can't even move. And here's the surrendering, the giving up for real, not waking up from the dream, not being able to steer, not being able to actually meet it, just waiting for it to happen. I realized that the trickster god who's hunting me is the same demon I have read about in a horrific book when I was a teenager, and this is the recognition of fear, knowledge, as in the scariest part of the tree of life, when going through that to reach the understanding of Baina. And it's a demon who has been summoned to assist the most horrific evil deeds at the Holocaust and in World War II, and I can feel all my energy leaving me when the footsteps come closer. And I understand that I have reached the time of my own death, so here I'm dying in a symbolical way. When I become aware of something else, then it's not a demon approaching because it's gone now, and the reason I understand this is because I can hear that the footsteps is in the pounding. It's pounding exactly in the same pace as my heart. Quite amazing. So in the dream I just listen to my heartbeat and I'm thinking to myself, Messiah. So there it is, boom, rebirth. Transformation is taking place. The trickster god, demon, and the nameless fear is transformed through the art of surrendering. Worth noticing is the open paper left with the lyrics to One Love. This is a subconscious message about being one with one's fear, about the necessity of accepting whatever is found on the inside and capitulate. Don't flee from it. And the Messiah symbol has been potentially present the whole time. The safety is always there for the soul, even if it has to go through the journey of nameless horror, even as in such horrific places as in Holocausts. Even if this is a subject for itself and not something one should mention briefly, it's worth saying that there are actually souls who really have gone through huge transformations in such situations. Viktor Frankl, for example, who survived 4 concentration camps, including Auschwitz, and who wrote a book with the title Man's Search for Meaning, with the subtext The Classic Tribute of Hope to Hope from the Holocaust. It's really worth reading. So let's check out the archetypes in this dream. The Asian man holding the baby in his arms is not only symbolizing rebirth, since Asia is also representing the dragon. So for you who are familiar with the Bible, and in particular the book of Revelation, you know about the woman and the dragon who is standing on the shore and who wants to drown the woman and devour the newborn child. You may also probably know that the woman has been given a place in the desert away from the dragon, so here's the archetypal symbols quite strong. Since the desert is an inner place, it's place for contemplating and meeting fears. It's also a lifeless place, desolation, as in astral dimensions, the place where most of our inner trials take place during scary out-of-body experiences and particular dreams. The U2 message, One Love, and the demon transforming into being Messiah is also seen in the revelation in the words, I am the morning and the evening star, because there Jesus, who is obviously seen as the Savior in the Bible, identifies with the fallen morning star. He also says, accordingly to the author John, I'm Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. For me, seeing this now, it's kind of exactly on place, because I'm writing a book where these things are quite crucial. I'm writing about the history of the lost part of the divinity, the feminine side, to a large extent based on my dreams. Understanding this dream was archetypal gave me a key to understanding old Gnostic scriptures, who in their turn are needed to be able to see the whole of the book of the Revelation, which in its turn is quite important when it comes to where and why the feminine side of divinity disappeared from the map of the so repeatedly driven on over time patriarchal world. So look at the theme and the symbolism. Remember the fact that the demon of the Holocaust book was brought up in a dream. Many has asked about how God could let his people go through this hell, and seen in a symbolical language, this means faith is tested. Remember, this is all to be seen symbolical. And remember also the lyrics from the song of U2, One Love, where Bono is singing, we are one, we are not the same, we got to carry each other, meaning the salvation in this knowledge of being one. Being one makes us able to not distrust, not lose hope, not lose faith, knowing we are carried and we are carrying each other when it's needed. So the U2 theme came back repeatedly in my dreams that same period, as if strengthening and understanding the Messiah symbolism as in being present all the time, from the beginning and to the end, Alpha and Omega. And in one of the dreams, I had the understanding of the story of the man talking to God, quite a known story. And God said he was there for him all the time during his difficulties, and this could be seen by the 2 pairs of footprints in the sand. The man then said, but look here, only 1 pair of footprints, where were you? And then God said, there I was carrying you. And U2 was playing the song in the dream, singing, we have to carry each other. So one with the fear, one with the whole, one with God, and one with humanity. When looking for the book of Viktor Frankl to check the English title, I found an example on the internet having a beautiful bird illustration on the envelope. The envelope on the Swedish example I borrowed at the library and read 10 years ago was black, and when seeing this bird, this beautiful red bird, I remembered that yesterday I dreamed about a bird looking just like this, reddish in a way I didn't recognize, and it was singing so beautiful, and I thought to myself in the dream I really had to remember this bird and find out its name. So I did find out its name. Both the dream bird and the envelope bird is a red sparrow, and I listened to it on YouTube just now, and I was very touched by its beautiful song. And birds are symbols of hope and spiritual freedom, for psychological liberation, and for love, for balance and harmony. And the leap to the second book then, consisting the World War II demon, was really a horrible reading for an early teen, and the fact that the memory of this forgotten book coming up in the dream being understood now is the pearl of synchronism, since the reason for checking the stream up was the surrendering theme, and therefore I found a direct parallel to the dream brought up last week, where I lost all the power when the car behind me was closing up in a snowy way. In this desert part of today's dream, the same thing happens, all my energy is leaving me. So the understanding of that the male figure keeping a part of my soul prisoner in the epicenter of lost power dream also was the one driving the car, and was the demon who had always hunted me, really put things on edge. As the goaler he was seen only for the waist and down, and since I didn't go deeper into that dream last week, I didn't tell you about the color of his pants, but they were red as the bird in my song, and red as the bird on the envelope. So as it turns out, the horrible demon can actually be a symbol of hope, because it's the raw material waiting to be transformed. And look at the symbolism, the demon and Messiah, the morning and evening star. It's one, and only the soul's journey is between them, the journey towards understanding and transformation. So you too, me too, Messiah and the trickster God, we are one. And the salvation lays in the problem itself, all the time. We are never alone, we are always loved, always. The intelligence of this universe is to be seen in everything living. Everything is facets of this power of love and its expression. Even if it's twisted and distorted, we can choose if and when we want to deal with our fears, and we can choose to learn from it or not, but we can never ever be alone in the universe. Even if we feel lonely, and even if we choose to withdraw ourselves from the world. The gods in my dreams, who seemingly deserted me, for sure, followed every move I did up there in the Red Mountains, holding their breath, hoping I would make it through the initiation. And the same thing goes for the woman in Revelation. She's in a desolated place, but she's not alone. She's coming back when she has done this thing of her to the end, when the initiation is ready, done. So the power of synchronicity is an information and understanding grid. Everything around us is giving us signs and clues. We just have to pay attention. So if I hadn't been talking about re-entering dreams last week, I hadn't been looking into the desert dream today, and I hadn't been looking for the book of Viktor Frankl, and I wouldn't have been seeing the envelope of the bird with the bird and the bird that I was dreaming about yesterday night. And so remember, we are all one, and take a look into your own lives and see if there's a relation to someone which needs to be transformed. If there's someone in your life who feels like an enemy, always hunting you, obviously you can't transform the other person, even if that for sure would feel tempting sometimes, but one can transform the agony or fear attached to the relation to that person. Face it, surrender to it, and achieve the understanding of the process. If the subject for transformation is hard to identify, working with dreams is really helpful. Invite your intuition, see the synchronism around you, and have faith in that the process has already begun. This would be all for today. Much love to you all, and bye bye.